it's Maya, and I'm back again with another video. And in this video, I'm basically going to be talking about my personal experience with losing a parent. Again, I said my experience. Everybody's experience is different. So I'm basically just going to be telling you guys about my experience and what I went through. Yeah, so let's get right into the video. So basically I want to say that if it recently happened, if you recently lost a parent, first things first is that you have to, one, pray. Two, you have to make sure that you're okay. So mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you have to make sure that you're okay before you can help anybody else. For me, I know I'm the oldest of my siblings, so I had to make sure I was okay and make sure they were okay at the same time. And that was pretty tough for me, but it was like I had no choice. It was like, because if they see me weak, or if they see me losing it and breaking down, then of course it's a ripple effect. They're going to do the same thing. So basically I wouldn't let them see me break down, or of course they see me cry, but it was only like initially. After that, any tears, any weakness I had, I never let them see it, because I already knew if they seen me, it was gonna be a ripple effect. It was gonna be horrible. That's thing one. I'm just gonna give y'all a little bit of my backstory, and then I'm just gonna get into some tips that I have for you guys. So me, my brother, and my sister, I'm the oldest. I got two younger siblings by my mom. And so basically our grandmother raised us. So when we say our mom, my brother and sister say Nana, but I say mom or Madre. That's what we're referring to. So she raised us. That's what we know. That's who we knew. That's what we always know. And she died unexpectedly at about, I want to say like 5-ish in the morning from a heart attack. By the time this is the crazy part. So we lived 2 minutes away from the hospital, and it took the hospital, I want to say like 30 minutes to even get to our house. They said the GPS took them to somebody else's house. I don't know. Crazy story. But yeah, so yeah, she died unexpectedly. So it just so happened that my brother and sister weren't home that night. I was there, and my granddad was there, and one of my mom's friends. So my brother and sister weren't there to get the whole the most traumatic part of it, I'll say like that. Like, they didn't see her unconscious or anything like that. They did come to the hospital and they did see her after she passed, but they didn't see her when she was like still alive but unconscious and not responding. So in the beginning, in the first days, my immediate response, I'm dramatic. For one, I'm dramatic. I was a spoiled brat. So I'm so dramatic. I'm like, where I'ma live, how I'ma eat, how I'ma live. Like, that was me. And then I can laugh about it now, because I knew, like, because now I know, but I was so fucking serious. Like, I wasn't playing at all. Like, I was dead serious. So yeah, those are really my thoughts. I didn't sleep. It's like I'm a thinker, so if I got a problem, it's like my mind is going 150 miles per hour. So I wouldn't sleep. I would literally be laying down all night, thinking, okay, what can I do? Mind you, I'm 17. But I know my brother and sister are not going to go nowhere without me. They not doing nothing. Like, they not hearing that. They not hearing none of that. No splitting up, none of that. So I'm like, okay, where we going to live with them? And I'm 17. I had a job before, like Taco Bell, but still, Taco Bell ain't going to pay me, living expenses for me, my brother, my sister, you know what I'm saying? Like, they not about to, right? So, like, that was me initially. And then I can vividly remember, like, one night I got so tired of my mind racing at night that I just prayed. I was like, Lord, give me peace of mind so I can sleep, Lord. If you don't do nothing else for me right now at this time, just give me peace of mind so I can sleep. That was the very first night I got to sleep after she died. And that's why I say it's so important to pray, because when it first happened, I was pissed. I was like, I'm a good person. I don't do nothing to nobody. We don't bother people to stay in the third. And God just gonna take her from me? Like, he really just gonna do that to me? Right? Like, I'm like, I don't know who I thought I was. But I'm like, he gonna do that to me? He gonna take her from me? Like, he gonna leave me down here by myself? What kind of... So yeah, but that was my thinking then. Of course, as you grow, you learn, you figure out that that's not how they work. That's definitely not how they go. But yeah, so it's all just a learning experience. And then to say, like, 2 years later, my dad died. So me and death are like here, and it's weird to say. I say all the time, people never understand when I say it, but we're like here, like, I just experienced it so much at a young age that we're like here. And once you get closer to God, once you become more spiritual and you pray more to whoever you pray to, you realize, like, nothing and no one on this earth is ours. Like, we're borrowing them. Like, they were never ours. That person was never yours. Never. They never belonged to you. Like, regardless of what we might think or how we might feel, they were never ours. Like, we were borrowing them. So that's why I always try to tell people, like, you gotta enjoy the moments you have, the good moments. You gotta, like, you really gotta love who love you, because you never know when the last moment is. So that's what I try to do now. So once you get that part in your head, then you realize, but if your parent or anybody that you recently lost to death, if it happened more recently, you probably don't look at it that way. You probably don't understand that part. But as time goes, you'll understand it more. And as you get closer to God, as you learn yourself more, I don't want to say it gets easier, but I do want to say you cope better. Like, now, and don't get me wrong, I have my days. I definitely have my days. But as I've grown, got older, wiser, learned, experienced life more, I just know now that you can't take anything for granted. You can't take anyone for granted. And what I would say to you, if you're experiencing this, would be to first grieve. Like, a lot of people, because, okay, here's the thing. So in the beginning, there's family, there's people who love you, friends, or who say they love you, friends. Like, they're surrounded around you, they're around you, so you're never really alone, right? Excuse me. So you're never really alone, right? And then you have, as time goes, after the funeral, it's like everybody else, they go on about their life because it's their life and it doesn't directly affect them. So they're going on about their life, but your life has still stopped. Your life has hit a U-turn, 90-degree angle, whatever. Like, your life has changed. So you're still living in that, but it's like the world is still moving around you, but you're standing still. And it's not until after that, like after weeks, months, however long, that you really start to grieve and feel the process. And now when it's that time, it's that time. A lot of people fight it. A lot of people, I know I used to would just work, school, work, school, work, school, work, school, work, school, never stop. And then when I did stop, well, it's not that I stopped. When God stopped me, he was like, okay, that's enough. I need you to understand. I need you to feel it. The floodgates. You get what I'm saying? Like, the floodgates open. I'm crying. I'm describing. I don't know why. Because this is what I'm saying to myself at the time. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know why I feel like I'm losing it. Like, mama been gone months. I don't know why. It's because I was shooken and jiving. I never stopped to grieve. I never went through the grieving process. And when it was time, it was time. Even though it was months later, like, it was time for me to go through that. So, like, yeah, you gotta really go through your grieving process. Don't run from it. But however you grieve is your way to grieve. Everybody grieves differently. For me, I used to shut down. I would shut down. I want to talk. What we gotta talk about? I want to talk to y'all. I want to do nothing, sweetie. No, don't talk to me at all. Like, no, I'm okay by myself in my corner. Don't talk to me. So, some people shut down like me. Some people do other things. Some people fall into drugs, alcohol, sex, hopping from relationship to relationship just to try to fill a void when it's never going to be filled, because that's not fillable, sweetie. You got to do that. That's on the inside of you. You got to take that up with God. Like, y'all got to get right. So that's one thing. And then after grieving or while grieving, I would say find you some coping mechanisms. Whether it's working out, reading. A lot of people don't realize this, but reading not only quiets the brain, it helps the brain. You learn. It's like reading is fundamental. And I don't mean that like in a funny way, being smart, but reading really quiets your brain. And then once you read different things, you retain it. It's a distraction, but it's a healthy distraction, if that makes sense. So whatever coping mechanisms work for you, working out. I will say in that time you do find out who your real friends are, and the people who actually love you. You do find that out. What else? To be honest, I only talk to certain family members for multiple reasons. But you know, yeah. What else can I say? Let's see. Not only with coping, but I would say finding a healthy mixture between grieving and grieving and staying the course of life. Like, I know some people who they drop everything. They quit their jobs. They drop out of school. They just don't leave the bed. They don't leave their rooms. And like I said, then you have the other people who work. Like, they just keep on going until finally one day they can't go no more and they got to deal with it and they can't run from it no more. I think it's good to find a healthy medium between the two, because like you really do have to take some time off from those things. Like, if you need to take a week, 2 weeks, whatever, please do that. But at the same time, don't just quit altogether. You got to keep going, because you got to keep your mind busy, because that's how you slip into depression, suicidal thoughts, and that's the last thing you want to do. Like, you really want to keep a even or a healthy mixture. Find what works for you for a balance between the two. Let's see what else I can say. I also want to say that I know that if you're going through it right now, you probably feel lonely. A lot of feeling lonely. Right now it's year 7 for me. I still feel lonely all the time. I don't think, well, I'm not gonna say I don't think it'll ever go away. I just feel like certain moments and certain days that I know, or certain experiences that I had that I knew she would have been there for, and it's like she's not there. So, but I try not to live in that moment, you know. Like, I realize it, like, oh, she would have loved to be here, she's not here. I realize it, like, I let it sit in, and then I like snap out of it, because I can't afford to lose myself, slip into depression, slip into suicidal thoughts, anything of that nature, because that isn't good for anyone. My biggest advice is to make them proud. Like, everything you told them that you were going to do it. For me, it was she never graduated high school, so this is the crazy part. She died September 2013. August 2013, I was a senior in high school, but I started doing enrollment, and she used to always talk about she can't wait to see me walk across the field. She can't wait to see me graduate because she never got to do it. So when I started college, she was so happy. And it's crazy because that's the one thing she lived to see, me make it to college. So I got my associates in biology, I got my bachelor's in biology, and I did that specifically for her, even though I don't use them. I did that specifically for her. So the best way for me, or what I feel like the best way to celebrate the ones you've lost, your parents, or to keep them, you know, their memory alive, is to just do what you promised them you would do. Any accomplishments that you promised them that you will accomplish, just do it. Like, and then celebrate. One thing about me though, I talk. Y'all might think this is a little weird, but I talk to my spirits. Like, a few of my family members have passed, and we'll talk about that on another video, but I talk to them. Like, I have their pictures and stuff. Like, I talk to them as if they're still here, and that's crazy to some people, but to me, I feel fine. A lot of people aren't. Like I said, I'm very comfortable with death and spirits. Like, when my mom died, I did her fingernails, and something else. Her fingernails. Oh, and I helped the girl with her hair. So for me, I'm comfortable like with spirits, and I'm okay with, because for me, I feel like when I can feel them around, or I can feel their presence, I don't feel any like, I don't feel like anyone's harming me, they're out to get me, you know. I feel safe. So that's one of the ways that I keep them close, and I feel close to them. And that's really one of the ways that I cope. I don't know, guys. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what I did to get to this point. I think I just experienced death so much at a young age. Because more than a few of my family members have passed, but that's how I cope. You know, some days are harder than others. I want to say that, but you have to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep pushing. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream, because I'm a screamer sometimes. It's okay to do whatever you need to do. I'm a writer. I write all the time. I write in my journal sometimes 3 times a day. Sometimes, okay, car. I write in my journal like 3 times a day. Sometimes 5-10 pages, depending on the day, depending on how I'm feeling. So you just find something that works for you. Journaling works for me. It helps me get it out without keeping it in. You just find what outlets work for you, and then you work at it every day, and you find a new way to cope, or you find a way that copes for you, and you just work on it every day, and you find a purpose for you to live. You find a purpose for you to live. Whatever that purpose is, whatever you feel like it is, you find that purpose, and you get up every day and you go for it. Some days you're not going to feel like getting out of bed. Some days you're going to feel like God forgot about you. Some days you're going to feel like the world is against you. But that's okay. Take your 10, 15, 20 minutes to cry about it, however long you need, but you just still got to get up and go for it. And that's like my biggest tip. Like, you may bend, but don't let it break you. And I know that sounds crazy right now, especially if you're in the beginning stages, but that's my biggest tip. Like, mentally stay strong, because that's the biggest thing. You're mentally stay strong. And if you're not mentally strong right now, find ways to strengthen your mental. Like I said, reading books, read the Bible, go to church. If you're not spiritual, read self-help books. Read any kind of book. You don't even got to start off with a self-help book. Read any kind of book. read blogs, get on YouTube, watch videos, find a hobby, like anything to keep your mind from sitting in the depression, anything to keep your mind from sitting in the sadness, anything to keep your mind from sitting in it. Like, that's the thing. We're gonna go through it. It's a storm. Like, we're gonna go through it. We gotta get through it, though. We can't sit in it. Like, that's the main thing. So, but yeah, those are my tips, guys. I'm going to put all my social media down below. So if you need someone to talk to, hit me in the DM, because I do reply and I do respond. And I will be more than happy to talk to you, because I wish I had someone to talk to help me through my storms and my troubles that have already been through it. Because if they've never been through it, they won't understand. As much as they tell you they understand, they don't. And you know that. So yeah, guys, if you want to talk to me, just go ahead, DM me. I'll reply, email me, whatever contact information you see. And I just pray that if you're going through this storm right now, that you stay strong, keep fighting,